Mm, I know it looks grainy. The lighting in here is just weird. It's really weird. So, coming out of the comfort zone, again, you take you everywhere you go. That's not going to change with geographical distance. So, and that goes for not just ourselves, but for other people as well. You have a lot of people who will uproot and move to different cities and assume a different livelihood, a different lifestyle. It's very apparent in the Atlanta area. Everybody has been moving here. The first when I moved down here, it was like 1995, before the Olympics. So imagine an underdeveloped country town. I mean, it still had its heights as far as the downtown area and things like that, but the outskirts and surrounding counties and surrounding cities weren't nearly as a Chicago, a New York, an LA, um, Austin. They weren't developed like that. So fast forward over 20 years later, and I'm watching, I'm not native to Atlanta, but I'm watching everyone gravitate towards it. And there's something about Atlanta, because I was here for so long, spent a lot of my childhood here. I know what Atlanta is and I know what it ain't. People have this, I don't know, misconception. There's a fantasy element, and I always felt like Atlanta and Atlantis were closely related. There's something here about this space that is calling people, and they don't know what it is. And I have a feeling that it's all along this journey that we're on. Um, it's a very attractive spiritual place, and a lot of people don't know it to be that just yet. They don't really see it fully encompassing what it really is. So to leave the city to go to another, just hours away, another, city, and to feel it was, oh, the collective thought, the collective energy, the collective in that community. I want to say like miles and miles stretched around you, around me, from where I pinpointed, on a map, just miles spread out in every direction, is a lot of trauma. A lot of trauma. Um, and the thing is, people don't know that they're gravitating towards this place to go through transformation and exposure. They have no clue. None. Their shit is gonna get bust wide open. And I mean on a soul level. So to come out somewhere else, I've done the work for years before I knew what a dark night of the soul was, before I was the people coming up now into the journey, they've got a community of other people that are going through a lot of the same stages and phases that they're in. And they have people to confer with, readers who are saying, hey, this is that. And I haven't explained a lot. I haven't, because it's an experience that the synchronicities not everybody's going to understand. My deductive reasoning is not damn sure nobody's going to understand. Libra Mercury and I'm a Virgo. So life path 7 and the way I Rubik's Cube my thoughts and then I see a full picture, that's something that I can't intricately explain, and everybody can say, hey, this is that part of the stage. This is that part of the journey. This is this and this. I do have a lot of valuable information. I'm trying to formulate a way to get it out. Not to ascribe anyone to a specific something, but in the way that I read, in the way that I do things, if it's aligning, it's going to show you where you are in terms of stages. Now, when I read for the collective I'm looking at and the collective I'm reading for is of a certain elevated space. I could general it all day long, and I could really numb it down. But the thing about vibe, you don't want to do that. Those readers that are where the other people ascending to the next stage are, let them continue to karmic read this shit out. When that shit no longer resonates with you, you will know, and you will just start to gravitate towards something else. Just naturally. Just naturally. If every single reading you're watching is resounding the same types of things and there's no succession, you have 3 or 4 good readings and usually they're related to someone else. But it's like, where does this, and I understand, if you want a personal session, book a session, this and that and that. What about packages? What about twice a month? So you know where you are very specifically, to not be minced and mixed with collective, because collective will not be the only way you raise your vibration. It'll be the last way that you can raise it, in awareness of others and receiving of others and giving of others. But on a personal standpoint, there's a very, you're put in charge. You're put in charge to elevate on your own accord. And it's for a very, very specific reason. It's having a left and a right. Your dominant is your right side. But say anything happens and you can't use something on your right side and you are limited to your left. How strong is it? Are you ambidextrous in your spirit? Right? We have these natures. I don't care what the fuck it was. You can have somebody who was dealing drugs their whole life, right? And everybody's like, that's such a negative thing. And a person can try to run from that, and try to like turn it into something that is no longer resonating for them true. But that may not be the type of medicine, or those may not be the type of sales. That's take what was a positive aspect about yourself. Even if you were doing something that you had no business doing, there's something in it that you can take and utilize. It's taking the left and integrating it with the right. And you have to, when I was talking about recombinant, I truly mean that. There's aspects of you, there's aspects of your past, and because of situations that usually involve other people, we will dismiss certain aspects of ourselves as if they were not useful. It's not the whole of you where you can just pick and say that's not useful. That's your ass. You need it. You just have to know how to use it and when is appropriate, how to implement it. And the shit was just, it was coming into realization that I have a master manifester on my team. Master manifester on my team. Right? To speak manifestation, and I've seen it in action. I've seen an intention written and it followed through for my child. I have a master manifester on my hands. So, having done the work, I can see the results. It's the way our charts are set up. Sun, moon, rising, it's the same planets. Same signs, but just switched places. So I'm speaking to another aspect of myself. This is me in a different form. If you can look at people as, and there's so much separation. That's them over there. That's her over there. Oh, I'm good. This is me. We have our individuality. Individuality, yes, it's key. Great. But when you can't see people as an aspect of you, if we all come from a fractal and just burst into a million pieces, that person fits some kind of fucking way. There's no accident. I don't care if you hate their guts. There's something there that you need to be paying attention to. Because it's either showing you or showing you something that you don't have yet. And you could despise the way that they use it, but it could be very useful to you because you would use it differently. A skill, a trade, an ability, not an emulation, a remembering. So I had a lot of revelations too. I'm going to get these cards shuffled. I'm only going to pick a couple. The whole I'm definitely wanting to upload more videos with the cards. I do a lot of lecturing and talking and this and that, and there's a platform for that. Having you watch for 30 minutes of me talking, I don't know. I don't know if I would watch. I'm going to have this blog, and I've been writing my dreams down in it. And there was, when I started to put it down, when I started to write them, there was something that was happening. It's like it stirred up something. It freed something, it stirred something, because I was able to get my truth. And I've written it in journals, but it was something about putting my truth open. Truth. It did something. It did something. It's like, because it could and can be viewed by anyone, it's a truth that's put out there. Even if I didn't share it, but I still put it where it can be seen. Consider information that you have an inkling about, and you're like, where is that coming from? Where did that thought come from? But you feel it strong, and you're like, I know. Oh man. And you think it for a second, it might just, you feel like it could be a doubt, or it could be, it's something that hasn't been proven. It's something that you haven't seen with your own eyes to confirm. But you just get the sense that you're going to find it out, or you're going to sense, or you're going to see it, or you're going to know it. And it could be that very instance that it's put into view. Even if you don't access it at that moment, it's there. It has a conception. That's, once you know it, you know it. And once you realize it, or once you intuit it, it's conception. Though it is not fully manifest where your eyes are on it, its existence is known to you. You know it's here. That's, I'm trying to describe the best I can. I hope I'm making sense. Because even still, a perfect example, it was Midori. Midori is a drink. It's a liqueur. It's a melon liqueur. And growing up, I had a friend, and her sister's name was Midori. So when, as a grown up, I heard about this drink I wanted to try. This bartender I worked with used to, we were working at Walmart, but she was a bartender. And she would tell me about this drink called the Alien Orgasm. And she said it has Midori in it. And I couldn't forget that part of it. I couldn't remember everything else, but I couldn't forget Midori. So this had to be like 2010. I actually bought a bottle of Midori and I was drinking it. Now, fast forward like 2015, and I think I had posted something about it on Facebook. So for the last couple of weeks, I've been having the taste of Midori in my mouth. And it's like, that is a very specific taste. I wouldn't forget what that is. I wouldn't forget it at all. I was like, damn, that's Midori. I was like, man, I am thinking about Midori right now. And I had never met her sister. She was like close as a sister, but she wasn't a real, blood related sister. I think she was adopted or something. So to it was like that conception date when I put that out. It wasn't, that 2010 when I first tasted it. That's the truth of me knowing what it tasted like. It was when I posted it in 2015 that putting I was putting that, the feeling I got when I first tasted it. I was putting just the impact of the flavor on me was what the post was about. And it wasn't very lengthy, it wasn't descriptive, it didn't show a particular drink, but I posted Midori with all my memory attached to it. When you post, you attach something to it, and it's giving, even every post that you put on social media has an aspect of you because it aligns to something very specific in you. So when someone who knows you or who feels you from the inside out on a spiritual level, when they come in contact with it, they're going to feel an aspect of you. Whether they understand what it means or not, it was conception with you and this thing. You put an image out there attached with your energy, attached with your significance. It's a blueprint. It's a trail that follows you. So this is why people they'll try to gauge who you are by what you post and try to piece you together energetically. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Not everybody posts frequently. A lot of times people are deflecting. Sometimes people are projecting. Sometimes people are stuck in trauma, and that is not descriptive of a person as a whole. It's describing a portion of where they are. But if you go over a long period of time, you can see a person's transcendence. Okay. Knight of Cups. Somebody asked me where I was going yesterday. I said, I'm going to see a man about a horse. Knight of Cups. Eight of Cups. Two of Wands. Temperance. Ace of Pentacles. High Priestess. Wheel of Fortune. Six of Cups. King of Cups. This is like I got Back to the Future. It's like oh, it's like the words. I see it very clearly, but the words, it's like leaving home to know what home is. Well, say you and another, right? You're orbiting around each other, vicinity, and then you leave geographically. That's kind of what I'm getting at. A person. This is a geographical. I mean, it's emotional, but with this Two of Wands, it's showing me geographical, right? It's a displacing. It's a removal, right? When you separate energy bodies that are orbiting each other, there's a disruption in flow. There's, and I'm not an astronomer to explain, or a physicist to explain what I'm getting at, but it's like there's a balance when these two, because they're both magnetic. Okay, so you remove one, so one is just hanging out on its own, but it's in a space that it's naturally in. So having to leave, but this here is showing to me leaving to find what's at home, a feeling that's at home, but it's not at a home, not a physical location. So you can move homes, you can move your whole life, you can move everything and everyone. But if there's one component that feels like home and it's not there, you're going to feel like it's missing. And you're going to keep looking for it and keep searching for it. Because home, much like love is a place. And I've explained this before. It was in my Kundalini rising for the very first time, out of nowhere. I was having a conversation. And for that reason, there's a person that's very specifically significant to that event, but not getting the credit. It sparked my own channeling and ascension. Like it did something to me that made me go up, not go off. I had an opportunity to go off. It was a trigger, and I transcended the trigger, and it whoop, went straight up. Everything vibrated from, the just everything from the head down. It was orgasmic, but not sexual, and I can't. It's hard to explain to people. I thought I was gonna cry. I wanted to laugh. It was so many emotions flooding through me. And that's when it really hit me. It was like, that's what I knew with every emotion I had experienced. It was a reservoir. It was a these 8 cups, to say that there's, okay, 7, or there's a couple of base emotions and things distort and spread off from there. On love and fear, or they stem from those. So it was like in that rising, I experienced every emotion on the high scale, on the vibe that was transcendent, and on this aspect, because I had already experienced every single one on the other end. So the equal and opposite was coming to meet me. That's when I knew. I said, love is a place. I was in it. I was in love. It just clicked, and I just knew. I was like, I was just in love. I wasn't there. You weren't there with me, but I was explaining it, and I couldn't. I mean, he couldn't get it. He had done so much dirt and so much hurt. He couldn't. Where the fuck she getting this shit from? Like, she was just pissed off our last conversation. So for us to have this conversation, she started talking about she's in love. To the egoic mind, it's confused. Like, damn, she seen somebody else? Like, no, bitch. My Kundalini's rising. I'm in love. It's a place. I'm right here. I'm in it. And the more the conversation started to go, and I knew that he wasn't understanding me, I couldn't sustain staying in it for too long. And I kind of got buffered out of it. And it was like, wow. It was a whoa moment. It was definitely a whoa moment. So home is where the heart is. It's not a geographical place. Neither is love. So it's very hard to explain. But like I said, you take you everywhere you go. And when you know how to get to that place, because after that, years after that, I attempted to recapture that feeling in an experience with another. And it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. It was like, damn. How come nobody can get here? I love this place. I love where love is. I love to feel that I am there. Why can nobody travel there with me? And it was like, because the heart's not there. They can't get there. They don't have the key to access it. Everybody's shut down. Everybody's closed off. Everybody's bottled up. Everybody's in always in this searching, 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 loading, searching, searching, searching. There's they're not, and they think it's a geographical location. They think that it's another person, as I did at one time. And this recombinant ass looking card, it's like, no, baby, it's right here. It's just right here. It just like, it's the spirit guys is the motherfucking mix masters. Like, you have everything to access this place of love. When I say that love is unconditional, I know it to be, but I'm living a human experience where everything that you experience is going to it's going to hold you to that. It's going to hold you to it. So if you're the type of person that says, "Oh, I love unconditionally," I'm going to test your conditions. I'm going to test to see if you're going to stand and say through every single circumstance. All these people talking about they love unconditionally. Right now, they hate someone. They're screaming hate. Not all. That's a generalization. But there's a lot of people who call themselves empaths. There's a lot of people who call themselves loving unconditionally, who have conditions when it's unfavorable for them that will justify why they can't love this person unconditionally. They'll fix their lips in a sour fashion to tell you why it's okay for them to not find love right now within this person and not be able to see love in this person. And it's very dismissive and it's very cold. And it's like, that tells yourself that you're lying to yourself. It's not at every given moment, even if you have the capacity to love unconditionally, to do so in this human form is a contrary thing. You weren't taught that. So you're trying to remember an aspect of you that is ethereal. When you're in those planes, when you're with those ascended masters, you get real humble. Your conditional, and the unconditional that they actually possess, unmatched. Your human existence isn't geared for that. It isn't, you don't vibe high enough, quite frankly. No one living physically on this earth is vibing to where they are completely unscathed by each and every single event that happens around them. Like, I'm not saying to find joy in to be able to find joy at a time of duress. People think you're off your rocker. They really don't understand. If you can see what it's that it's balance and it's necessary, they don't understand. They don't understand you. That death is not a sad thing. That's one of the biggest ones. They're like, why is she not sad? Why is she not letting me be sad? I don't have anything to say. I'm sending you much comfort at this time. The transition will be smooth. You'll hear from them soon, and I forget that not everybody's like that. Not everybody communicates with those who are no longer here. Not everybody has those open channels. What am I to say? I can't really say shit, so I say very little. Page of Pentacles. But the thing is, saying very little, I'm meeting them where they are. This has been in every fucking situation. Friends, family, ex. Occurrences? I don't know what to call them. They weren't boyfriends. They weren't men. Like, they weren't doing men shit. They were doing boy shit. But they were doing, I don't know, experiences, occurrences. So, I'm not being able to speak freely and people actually understand me. I find that here too. Find that here. And it's what keeps me from recording as well. There's so many different things that I've tracked, wrote down, gauged, confirmed, developed, automatic writing, insights, downloads. And it's like, damn, a lot of this stuff is it's not safe for everybody. It's not safe for everybody. I know people who don't survive the attacks the way that I was able to. They were attacked in adulthood. I was attacked in childhood. So when it happened again, I was able to identify it better. What the tarot was useful for, encountering certain people, a card would flash in my mind's eye. And I would have a synopsis real quick of who they are and what was going to happen. Or it was something very specific. There was something, a particular someone that I had spent half a day with, and he said something, and the devil card popped up. And I couldn't unsee it. So the rest of the day, the possessiveness, the greediness, the extravagance and excessive nature to everything I was encountering with him just in that day out. I was like, this is some shit that'll have me stuck. This is some shit, if I take this past today, because I know now it's going to put me on a meter. And I have to be on it until the meter runs out. It's like every time you take an option and you take an opportunity, it has a meter, it has a time limit. This opportunity lasts 3 months. This one here lasts 3 years. Sometimes you can't gauge the longevity of an opportunity because it depends. Sometimes it depends on vibration and how quickly you ascend. Other times it is a measured. It's measured, and it is not dependent on you. It's just that you cannot leave until it won't be finished until. So nothing you do in the meantime would get you fired. Nothing, and you could be on some bullshit. But when you're close to that ending, that's when it can be cut short a couple seconds or give you an additional 10-second boost. Or it's weird. It's weird. The way the spirit shows me shit is it's not weird. It's not weird at all. It's just something. Yeah. Yeah, Back to the Future shit though. Six of Cups, King of Cups. Started out this way. Leaving, 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 leaving. This is the masculine aspect, leaving, even though these are feminine energies as far as water is concerned. I'm seeing the masculine aspect being very uncomfortable and needing to leave. Gotta leave. Gotta leave. Gotta move. Gotta move. Gotta move. And that's where the physical movement, planning of movement, choosing a direction is a masculine thing. It can be the feminine aspect of a person being like, I don't like it here. I'm not comfortable. We gotta go. We gotta go. Get me out of here. And the masculine aspect, like, damn, man, I need to change the scenery. I should move. Or I need to move. I need another job. I need some, and those decisions, not even knowing that the emotions are helping facilitate it. You're not being run by emotion. It's being facilitated and set up by the feminine regard. So when it comes down to it, allowing yourself to be taken, to trust yourself enough to be taken out of your comfort zone, this occurs. The emotional, physical aspect, it gets to be put to a head, like head to head, versus your emotions running high and your morale and your spark running very low, or the other way around, you being full of energy but not really feeling anything that you're doing, just active, just mundane, just routinely. You know what I mean? So it's like, what happens when you do that, you get to a point where it's like, I'm uncomfortable, I'm uncomfortable, I'm uncomfortable, I'm uncomfortable. And then you just coast. You're like, okay, I'm in it now. I'm here now. I'm not there yet, but I'm in it. And that's farther than I've ever been. What the fuck? So that's when you can start getting insights. I don't care if it's literal physical travel or if it's just something that you want to do that you haven't done. When you're in the middle of it, like when you do the beginning of it, it's going to rattle you and you're gonna be nervous, stomach and knots and all of that. But once you're halfway there, it's like, well, shit, I've gone too far. I can't really turn back now. And it's like, okay, you're in it. You're just in it. And now you're more open. This is your time, your energy, your effort. It's almost like you're giving that over to the unknown. You're giving that over to who those who know more than you, that will be giving you information. Just like I would be speaking to someone who doesn't know shit about what the fuck is happening, I would be giving them a little bit of information, just feeding them a little. They could be eager, yes, but I have to understand their capacity for the information is a different proportion. The ratio is quite different. So I can't envelop a person, a community, immerse them in all this information. That's how people lose their minds. That's how the mind snaps and breaks when it receives too much information it's not ready for. This is why spirit gives it to you in bits and pieces, because there are so many people dealing with psychosis. They're not all entity attachments. Some of their minds were busted open by information. But an angel speaks to you, it's not going to be in words, but if they were to open their mouth, you would have a whole library of information. Just by one sound coming out of them. This is how much information they have. So just imagine that you have all these terabytes of information and you have somebody who's sitting on 32 gigs. You can't compute. It will bust your shit wide open. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna get each. They're stretching you. They have to stretch you. They have to mold you. They have to break you. They have to bend you. They have to get more. They have to make more space. This is we have all this eternal space. The soul has so much space. There's so much debris and so much trauma and so much heartbreak. Like how you only have a heart in this body, but you're attaching experiences of painful events to your soul. We got to clear some shit out because you can't hold all of that. That's why we here now. That's why you're here now. Because the shit you held on back then. You had no teaching that assisted you thus to this point where you had the opportunity to clear your karmic slates, pay off your debts. Every lifetime just unknowing, just living and doing and experiencing like all the other humans that we've seen in the unawakened state who just didn't seem to get it. We only see that now because we're no longer in that state. We crossed the threshold. We came back in a time where that thing, that veil, that membrane was being burst open. I came clawing through it. I don't know. And it just was uncanny to me. The synchronicities that I noticed prior to my perceived awakening. So there was a part of me that was always aware, but I wasn't aware of it fully. I knew my deja vus. I knew the premonitions, the dreams that came true. I knew that stuff. Nobody could tell me I didn't see that stuff because I could confirm it. Confirmed it with other people. But that was before 2010. I'm talking about childhood. I'm talking about speaking things and then they, just not knowing what the gifts were, what the intuition was, how transformations were happening around me and how it was necessary for them. Like a catalytic converter. Like, the fuck? So, more or less, bits and pieces And it's not to breadcrumb or anything like that. It's really for your own safety. The more you know, the more you're susceptible to shit you don't know, for better or for worse. I've had to fight on people's behalf that wouldn't even thank me if they knew. It's my life's work, though. They wouldn't even know. They wouldn't even appreciate it. They wouldn't even give a fuck. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't. I have to leave perceptions, projections, and assumptions out of it when I'm doing my work, not my state. So it's something in you that I'm honoring. This is what my past lives were about that I got wrong. I thought that in order to honor people, to be loyal, I had to be in the energy with them, accepting everything that came with it. I had to learn the delineation, what this means and what that means. It's like, I can love you. I can be loyal to you, but I don't have to be a part of any of this. That says nothing about my loyalty to you and everything to do with my respect for myself. That was something that didn't happen in those past lives. And those other times, those way back, way back days, back when they were stoning bitches to death, all due to loyalty. And all it took was somebody to say something in contradiction. And it's like, well, then you're lying. This person looks honorable, and the person who's actually honorable is getting put to death or whatever. So there was this tug of war for a long time. Past lives of living in communities that took care of each other and this and that, you know what I mean? That's something that I have a remembrance of, but something that I just don't wholeheartedly feel was always a good thing for me. And it's been a tug of war with where I am now versus where I was. So to come on here and speak to a community of people, consider way back then speaking to a community of people that you love, they respect you, you respect them, and for one person to go to another side and speak ill of you, and it results in you dying as if you hadn't helped, gave, tended to, healed. It was useful until this one person felt like they weren't, you know what I mean? It's like, what more do you want? What more do you want? I don't know. So that's kind of where I'm at on a personal level. I want to be a part of the community and have that sense of relativity. But there's something in me that's because of what I do, where I go, what I have to handle. There's a lot of it I do on my own. That's why understanding what loneliness and all oneness, aloneness was very vital for me. It's very vital, very vital. So to come on is few and far between. And because of how deep I go with my readings, I'm kind of just talking to you because the symbolism starts to dance, it starts to play, it starts to the way that I'm reading cards, is changing. It's changing. It's changing. It's getting to be less and less, you know, words. I was never a keyword type of person. You hear these keywords attached to cards for so long, and this and that. It's not. I'll probably be the last person to go and read a booklet, unless it's a deck that just has nothing to do with any of the traditional meanings. And even then, it depends. It has to really captivate me. And it's changing because my perception's changing. My vision is broader. It's well, there's shit. It's a lot. It's a lot transpiring. It's a lot happening. But I want you to know that the evolution of the Sacred Heart is well underway. Well underway. Okay, this is an evolution of the heart. No matter how long it took, it's showing that this person returned right back to home, and it was where the heart was. It had the heart. The heart. When using this, when you have this Scorpio energy, it's the truth of the heart. It knows truth. It knows enemies. You have to consider of the heart all those different moon signs of the heart, right? Not what attracts the heart, Venus. I'm talking about what the heart does, what it does. So when you have this here, you're searching for your truth as it relates to what you feel, the way you feel, your feels. My Leo moon, Leo rules the heart, which is funny to me. Not funny, but heart of a lion. So I know what pride is. I damn sure know what ego is. I can smell it. I can taste it. I can taste arrogance, vanity, power hungry motherfuckers. This is something I can detect because of what my heart knows naturally. The strength card is very significant to me because that's my Virgo sun coaxing my Leo moon to not be reactant in competition with those energies, but to allow them and recycle them, give them back in a purified form. Because the heart of a lion is a very sincere heart. Though Leos get up on stage and they portray and they act and they put themselves out there, there's a very deep sincerity about Leos that you'll find. I'm not a Leo. I'm a Virgo. But I know what Leo feels like in my chest. I have those characteristics to detect these particular things. To me, that's what my moon sign is valuable for. So to have a Scorpio association with the heart, that is truth. The illusionary stuff that comes with this is everybody else who wants to feel like they want to have that innocence. That's the truth, is innocence. It's innocence. The water signs, when you get down to the nitty gritty of what they do and who they are, it's innocence. It's complete, pure honesty, complete, pure compassion, selflessness. And that is something that is often taken advantage of. And that's why there's distortions around this card. Because sometimes we only remember those parts of innocence, those parts of sincerity, those parts of purity, and deflect against the rest. Forget the rest. And it's like, well, we had 3 great times. Remember those times that I can count on my hand versus the rest that I can't? That were so many. Like, there were so many ill times. But, remember those few good ones? That's this. That's why it's so hard for people. That's why it's so hard for them to let go. Because there was a couple, just a couple, that gave a person the insight of what is possible if it continued in a sincere manner, if it continued from a sincere place. But this is showing, I said all that shit to say, this is showing that when heart is at home, when the home is in the heart, and you take you everywhere you go, you're never without. You're never without. So it's really like I was always hearing that song by Rochelle, Losing Myself to Find You. I am losing myself to find you. That's a person losing themselves just to find themselves in the end, being not far removed from something that feels like home. That always had a true sense of what their heart was, of what their innocence was, of what their purity was. These are the things that are getting sorted through. So when you do a return, if there is a return, when you do a 360 or 180 and you do your return, there's a part of you that is no longer there, and that's just the distortion. And you're bringing the innocence back with you because it's never left. It's never left. But that you're going somewhere else where you know that it is not, you'll understand it's me. It's not that place. So I can leave the place, but it's me that I'm going with, that I'm taking. That innocence. I felt it. I saw it. I sensed it. But I don't live here. This is not home. So when I get back to my physical location, what I call home, I know what is pure about this. I know what's pure about me. I know what purity looks like. If that makes sense. Okay, well, I gotta go. This was less about the cards and more about the experience, I suppose. It brought everything to a head. So hopefully we can get back to the cards and the symbolism. I have so many decks I want to do. I want to do a couple of reviews on them and really break it down and not really necessarily teach tarot. I think that's something that you intuit and that you have a knack and knowing for. But I will show you how it stretches the mind and deepens capacity. So stay tuned. And those are gonna be like 15-minute videos because I can't do this all day. I can't. This is why I haven't done it as a job yet. I need structure. Okay, I'll see you later.